Angela, what's the standard of local government like in Norwich? Your residents should be queuing up for a refund on their council tax. If they've got any sense, I think you might be going off back to bird watching, don't you? Karen, a secretary from Romford. Is your shorthand any faster than the pace you've used today to answer questions? And what about your typing? Do you make as many mistakes at that as you did here today? I think maybe you ought to stick to shopping. Well, forewarned is forearmed. Remind me never to go to Northampton if you're the sort of policeman they have there. The place must be like the Wild West. Tell me, Steve, have you ever actually managed to catch a criminal? Because you certainly didn't manage to catch on much here today, did you? Gary, a graduate living in Bristol. What precisely did you graduate in? It certainly wasn't anything connected to questions or common sense. Are you going to get a job when you grow up? Will you ever grow up? So, Nicholas, you want to go into politics? Well, you've certainly got all the right qualifications, a tenuous grasp of reality, and, of course, that wonderful ability to get everything absolutely wrong. I was going to ask you what precisely it is that a commodities trader does, but after that performance, I don't think I'll bother. I doubt whether you'd know. So, Tony, a recruitment consultant. And you think you're qualified to advise other people on the best job for them, do you? Tell me, have you actually got any clients, or have they all run away in despair? I think they probably will after they see your performance here today. It's a pretty demanding job, the civil service, is it, Austin? I hope not, because you don't cope very well with pressure, do you? And you say you want to go into politics. Well, your performance today probably lost you any potential votes. Hardly the sort of display to inspire confidence, was it? So, Jenny, you're a receptionist. Well, I can only hope you're a bit better at answering the phone than you are at answering questions. I mean, that sort of performance is hardly going to inspire confidence in anyone, is it? Do you think perhaps you've been spending too much time manicuring those beautiful nails of yours? Arthur! Like watching current affairs programmes, do you? I think you must nod off in the middle of them. I bet the people of Hove are relieved you're a retired bank manager. Otherwise, one or two of them might think twice about putting their money in your hands. Lorraine, so you're the sporting type. Yes. Well, you're clearly not an intellectual. Your students are going to give you a bit of stick when you get back to Glasgow. You might just be for the high jump. Tell me, Eddie, do you ever actually manage to find any of the places you're supposed to be driving your lorry to? With your knowledge, I'd be very surprised. And these pub quizzes you go to, the emphasis, I suppose, is on pub rather than quiz. Tell me, Samantha, like to exercise, do we? Work out in the gym? Perhaps a bit more time developing your brain power and a bit less working on your muscle tone might have been a good idea. Jez, dear, oh dear, weren't you paying attention, boy? Too much giggling in the back row, is that it? I have a feeling you won't be taxing the GCSE examiners too much. Fail is a pretty easy word to write. So, you're a medical student, are you, Kate? Well, that performance really restores our faith in the medical profession. I mean, if that's your level of accuracy, I wouldn't even come to you with an ingrown toenail. I'd probably end up with my leg amputated. Lucinda, you're a caterer from Kensington. Remind me not to book you next time I'm having a dinner party. Can you honestly tell the difference between a courgette and a lamb chop? And I hope you're better at making money in your business than you are at banking for the team. Otherwise, if you're not already bankrupt, you certainly will be very soon. So, Maeve, you like being a barmaid? I certainly hope so, because I don't rate your chances of ever doing anything else. I think you've been spending far too much time in the pub. Well, I thought cabbies were supposed to know everything, Barry. And to make matters worse, you're a Crystal Palace fan. Of course, winning probably isn't something you're very familiar with, is it? Ravi, you're a trainee accountant. If you ever qualify, there should be an investigation. Not much seems to add up for you. You may be good at cooking the books, but I can't believe you've ever read one. How are your grandchildren going to feel after watching that, Rose? Perhaps you've been spending too much time in the herbaceous borders without a hat on. It seems you're suffering from a bit of sunstroke. Is that it? Jules, you're studying fashion design, are you? Well, not much evidence that you can match answers to questions. Do you ever expect to design anything that goes together? And you like performance art. Not much evidence of performing very well here today. Well, if the accuracy of your reporting matches the accuracy of your answers, Sarah, I imagine you're constantly being sued for libel. Instead of spending so much time reading society and fashion magazines, perhaps you should invest in a good encyclopedia. I think that might be of more use. Sapphire, that was a real gem of a performance, wasn't it? You might be called after a precious stone, but you seem to know precious little about anything else. Now, you told us you like all things physical. Is that right? I can see that, because you obviously don't excel in the mental department. Tim, I'm afraid you haven't done much to dispel the myth that computer programmers are just anoraks. Talk about a systems crash. I think you need to leave that screen and get out a bit more. Then you might discover there's more to life than floppy disks and modems. I have to say, William, I shall certainly think twice before I ever travel by plane again if you're the sort of person controlling the air, and to think the government want to sell off air traffic control. I think that performance of yours will wipe out about 20 million off the price.